Some children grow up thinking ambition is a dream. Others grow up learning ambition is a shield. The world whispered that becoming bigger was the safest way to stay alive. And so many of us mistook pressure for purpose and striving for identity. What we call drive was often a survival choreography we never agreed to carry. And so, here are 7 places we learned ambition we never chose. 1. Families that feared smallness. Home taught you greatness was the only refuge from judgment. You learned to chase excellence so no one could diminish your worth. You learned to outrun shame by achieving before anyone could question you. 2. Schools that rewarded performance. You were praised for output instead of presence. You learned applause was safer than confusion. You learned perfection was the currency that kept adults proud. 3. Cultures that worship success. Society whispered that only the visible are valuable. You learned to measure yourself by what you could prove. You learned your humanity felt fragile without achievement. 4. Poverty that demanded survival. Scarcity taught you that ambition is armor. You learned to dream louder than your circumstances. You learned that rising was not a luxury, but a necessity. 5. Comparison that became identity. Seeing others succeed turned into a silent pressure. You learned to ask what is wrong with me instead of what happened to me. You learned to transform envy into drive so that no one would see your fear. 6. Generations that carried unspoken wounds. Your ancestors lived with limits they never named. You learned their longing as your responsibility. You learned ambition as a way of fulfilling dreams that were never yours. 7. A world that forgot presence. Life became a race instead of a home. You learned to chase tomorrow because today felt unsafe. You learned movement was easier than meeting yourself. And so we realize, ambition was often armor. Ambition was often inheritance. Ambition was often fear wearing purpose. Ambition was often a survival script pretending to be destiny. So we ask ourselves, what part of me is still running? Whose dream am I carrying? What happens when I stop proving? What does enough feel like in my body? Everything begins to soften when you understand your own becoming. Nothing in you was ever a mistake. Presence slowly replaces pressure when you see the story clearly, and you are the quiet knowing that no longer needs to outrun itself.